Welcome to the 10th episode of the season of Gears and Beers, a show where freedom-loving, gun-toting capitalist pigs talk guns, gear, industry news, and dive deep with industry guests. Tonight on the show, we're going to be talking about ammo prices, the Stern Defense Rapid Attack buttstock adapter. Jim Jordan has sent a scathing letter to the new director of the ATF, and we've got some other things on the list here as well that I'm forgetting at the moment. I'm your host, Box, and I'm also joined by, or will be joined by here. Oh, there he is, showing up just right now. Sam, the owner of Shyworks, Iowa's preferred Cerakote applicator. Sam, do you have sound?
I don't know. You tell me.
It'll work. Tell me about Shyworks.
Well, if you're unfamiliar with us, we're Iowa's custom preferred Cerakote applicator. So what we do is we talk to you about how you want your gun to look, design it, and make it a reality. Whether that's just a simple single color change, or battle war, or a crazy camouflage, or a flag, or whatever theme you can come up with, we can make it happen. So check us out at shyworks.com, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. Give us a shout, and we'll help you out with all of your Cerakote, as well as laser engraving and stippling needs. So check us out.
If I didn't mention it before that, this show is brought to you by Shyworks, but we are also brought to you by Ballistic Imagery Brand Building Photography. Check them out on Facebook and ballisticimagery.com. Ballistic Imagery, make an impact. Okay, well, this has just been a real shit show here for the last 11 minutes of the show.
Yeah, guys, I apologize. My audio probably sounds like shit. My microphone is no longer working. For some reason, it allows me to hear through it, but it doesn't allow me to select it to speak through it. Makes no sense. So it's been a shit show.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that bad.
Well, I think it's just using my laptop audio. So peachy, wonderful.
Yeah, we'll get by. So how was your day?
Shitty. The last 2 days have been a goddamn shit show around here. It's just so. Yesterday I sprayed 3 ARs with Cerakote that was not catalyzed. You know what that does? Just makes them real dummy. It don't. It's a fucking nightmare.
That was stupid. Why'd you do that?
I don't know. I watched myself because I record everything that goes on in the shop. So I went back to the video and I watched myself. I poked it into I measure by weight. So I put in how much Cerakote I put in. I looked at how much catalyst I was supposed to put in. And then I just fucking walked away and went and did something else. I don't know if it's ADHD or what, but it's just not working for me lately. Oh God, I was pissed. And then today I went and talked to my tax professional to feel out how bad I'm going to get hosed on this year's taxes, and that's always a pleasant experience. But I'm drinking whiskey, so I got that going for me, which is nice.
Yeah, really working on that problem you got, huh?
I even got nice new ice cubes now with a nice big ass square whiskey drinking ice cubes. I'm working on getting them to be nice and clear, but I'm not there yet. So
you're not there yet. I mean, what do you need the right method down for ice cubes?
Actually, yes, there is some methodology.
I think you just need like clean water.
No, actually not. It's if you notice like your ice cubes that you put in your trays and just in your freezer, they're never clear. Nobody ever notices that, but they're never clear. And that is because the water freezes too fast and doesn't allow the air to escape. So that's what all the shit in there is trapped air. So if you allow it to freeze really slow, like put it inside of a cooler or something, and then put it inside the freezer, then it freezes a lot slower and all that air can get out of there and you're left with clear ice. That's the basic idea behind it. But
oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, learn something new every day, huh?
You know, do we have a single viewer? I don't see views on Facebook for some reason.
I have no idea. I just got logged back in, so I'm not even. I'll go and look over at the stream and find out it hasn't even notified me that we're live, Box. So I doubt
Oh,
we have any viewers.
that's because I never clicked go live on Facebook. Or I guess I've been live on YouTube, but not on Facebook.
Well, that would be the issue. There ain't nobody on Facebook to look at us because you didn't tell them.
This has really been a fucking train wreck. I stumbled over the introduction while you were gone too.
Here we go. Now we're live on the Facebook.
Somebody come say hi to us. Well, what do we start talking about?
I guess. What do you want to chat about, Box?
I don't really want to chat about anything, but I'm here.
I hear you. I hear it. It's been a rough one.
How about ammo? How about ammo? Ammo prices.
Yeah, I
They're low.
actually. Well, that's a relative term, I guess. Not near as low as they used to be, but if you go to like Ammo Seek, and if you're buying ammo in bulk anymore, don't ever buy in bulk from the big box stores. Like, don't go to like Shields and something like that and buy it because it's just going to be crazy high price. But if you go to like Ammo Seek right now, you're able to find 9mm for, I'm looking at it right now for 20.5 cents a round. And that is, I think that's new. Up to between 20 to 22 cents a round, 20 to 21 cents a round, you can buy 1,000 rounds of brand new brass case 9mm, which is not bad. It used to be in the before days, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, you could get it for 18, 17 on a really fucking good day, 16 cents a round. And I just picked some up the other day. I think it was like 21, 22 cents. With shipping, obviously, you're going to pay a little bit more. So that is looking up. 9mm is looking up. 223 is still kind of, that seems like it's lagging behind. Let's see, I'll pull
It's
that
like
up.
34 cents. I was seeing 34 cents.
Yeah, not horrible. I'm seeing here there's a lot of remanufactured stuff. But here is PMC, which is kind of my go-to ammo, to be honest with you. You're looking at 34.6 cents a round, which is pretty goddamn good. I mean, that's real good. Obviously, you're going to pay most places, a lot of places, you're going to pay 50 to 60 bucks in shipping. I paid like, I think it was like $15 for shipping that 1,000 rounds of 9 the other day. So you just got to play around and look. So that's coming down. The other thing that I did notice is not really coming down that much is 7.62 by 39 AK ammo. That has been in the 30 cent range, actually the 34 cent range for a long time. Remember there was that ban, that import ban on Russian ammo, like what was that, like last year or 2 years ago already?
I don't remember. Somewhere it
It
was
was
2020, I think.
and it jumped up to like 40 cents a round and then settled down in the mid 30s, and it's been bumping around in the 32 to 38 cents a round for quite a while. But that's really staying right there at 34 cents a round. Have you noticed? I know Palmetto's got their manufacturing plant set up. It's like AAC ammo or something like that. Have you seen that box?
I have not. I haven't heard anything about Palmetto.
Yeah, they're cranking. They got shit going on now. They got another company. I'm pretty sure they're sister companies. It's called like AAC, um, and they're cranking out 9mm, 5.56, and it's competitively priced. It's like really good price. But one thing I haven't seen them put out yet is AK, is AK ammo, and maybe there's a little bit of additional fucking around with steel case stuff. I don't know, but it is heartening to see the prices are starting to come down. Um, One thing that's not coming down is reloading shit. primers.
I was looking
Still,
at some of that earlier today. I don't know what any of that shit really costs, but I noticed like the cheapest gallon of powder I think was like $35 or something. Is that doesn't sound that bad?
well, you're probably talking about a pound of powder.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
pound. Yeah, I guess if it's a
powder.
pound isn't that much. It's like
Powder never really got super crazy. Um, thankfully I bought like, I don't know, like 18 or 25 pounds or something before all the shit went crazy. So that never really got too terribly outrageous. Primers are the one thing that went freaking nuts though. Um, you can find them online for, it used to be you could find 1,000 of them for 35 bucks, 30 to 35 bucks. You know, that's 3.5 cents a round. And that was pretty decent right when I started reloading. And now I've actually found some online for like 7 to 8 cents a round. Most of the shit you find is like 15 to 16 cents up per primer, which is fucking insane. When you can buy loaded ammo for 20, 22 cents around, it's not freaking worth it. Um, but yeah, that's one thing primers have not stabilized. They're just freaking absurdly expensive still, and I don't quite understand that whole deal. But thankfully, I stocked up a little bit before all this shit happened. But still sucks. Still sucks.
I believe Fiocchi is just opening a plant. Just announced that they're going to be opening a plant somewhere down south, like Kentucky, I think,
Oh yeah.
to start manufacturing or to pump out primers down there as well. So that might, I don't know, who knows if that's just for them or sure it probably is, but
Yeah, man. That's the one thing that like you can make. I've seen videos of guys making homemade primers, and it's doable. They're really finicky. But you can make your own gunpowder ish, kind of make it work, you know. And projectiles, those are easy. You can make that shit all day long. And then obviously your cases. But the primers are the one area that's really, you gotta buy that shit. So it sucks that they're the only freaking thing that right now is almost like, I see them on the shelves, but they're asking 120 bucks, 130 bucks for 1,000 of them. It's just like, I'm not freaking paying that, you know. But I don't know. Hopefully you said Fiocchi, and then there was another one down in Texas that we talked about on the podcast, probably last year, that was working to open up. And I haven't heard anything recently from that, but hopefully that comes to fruition too and starts bringing these prices down a little bit. Did you
yeah,
ever get did you ever get your reloader set up?
no. Well, I mean, I stuck it on my bench when I lived in Royal, but I never did anything with it.
Are you planning to? Because I'll take it off your hands. I got the same one. I wouldn't mind having two.
I will eventually. Yeah, it needs some work. There's something the timing's wrong with it or something. Like you have the same one as me, just new.
Yep.
Yours runs smooth as butter. Mine is not like that.
Yeah.
It needs
They're
some little TLC.
they're pretty simple. We'll be able to get it running like a top, and they're built like a tank, so it won't be no big deal to get her running smooth.
Yeah. So I was thinking, a lot of people,
Oh,
such as myself, just haven't really bought any ammo the last 2 years. Like
yep.
this is the first time I've even looked at ammo ever since it went crazy. So I was kind of surprised to see it where it's at. So I think if you've been holding off, now's probably the time to start stacking again. At least at least some of it. If you haven't been, if you're watching your funds, I think that's
Yeah.
probably a good idea.
Well,
But I was,
especially right now being the Black Friday sales and stuff. Yeah.
is there Black Friday sales on ammo?
Oh shit, yeah. That's why I bought. They do Black Friday. Well, right now, obviously Black Friday's gone, but they're on the Cyber Monday and Cyber Week sale still. So they're yeah, you can find some pretty decent deals right now.
Mm. So, how long do you think these prices are gonna last? Do you think they're gonna go lower? You think they're gonna hover around where they're at right now? And how long do you think it's gonna last?
I don't think it's going to get any better, to be honest. I don't think they're going to keep going down, to be honest with you. Um, just because of the current world situation, our supply chain is jacked right now. Hell, I mean, the railroad is talking about workers are talking about striking here in the U.S. That's just gonna, if that happens, which I don't believe that will happen, and frankly, I don't think Congress will let it happen. But if that were to happen, that's going to put the it's like 70% of everything that U.S. Citizens touch is on goes through the railways, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a big deal. But then every other freaking supply chain is still jacked up. So I don't foresee it getting any better for quite a while. Um, so man, that's why like I scooped up that 1,000 rounds of 9 mil because it's been a long time since I bought any, and I just don't foresee it getting much better. To be honest with you, do you think it's going to get any better from here, or what's your viewpoint on it?
I think best case scenario, maybe we'll get 9 down to 18, 19 cents around here and there. So not
Dude,
much cheaper than than where we're at. I mean, the
that's
cheapest
like
is
previous.
20.
That's like previous year's prices, dude. That's a pretty bold statement.
Well, it's at 20.
I think that's just sale items, though. Don't you think? I mean, you're right. It is
I
at
don't know.
20, but I don't know if that's just because of the Cyber Monday and Black Friday deals going on. I felt like it was, but yeah,
I guess I don't know. Yeah, well, my point is I can see it going a couple cents lower than where it's at now,
right. But
give or
even
take.
even if it moves a whole cent, like let's say it goes from 20 cents to 18 cents, that's 2 cents obviously, but you're saving, $20, which is decent, but my thoughts behind this are make sure you have what you need, and if you need to pay some prices that you're not super comfortable paying, well, I would prefer to do that rather than not have it when a fella needs it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. If you need it, buy the shit because it ain't getting any cheaper in the next. Well, we got 2 more years of Biden, and I don't see it going our way in 2 more years of presidential election. So I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon, to be honest with you.
I don't see these prices lasting 2 years.
You think they're going to go up?
Yeah, I think
I would agree.
it'll drop a little bit more, but at best, I think we can hang on to these prices until next election, but I don't see it going past that. And it's just going to be
Yeah.
another shit show.
Um, Surprisingly enough, actually, that was sarcasm. The election still is not certified. There's still bullshit going on over that. But as of right now, it looks like obviously we don't have the Senate, but we supposedly will have the House. So I don't think that there's going to be any. Obviously, Republicans are spineless cowards, so it would not surprise me. But there's not a huge chance of anything significant passing in the next 2 years. So I don't see any massive runs on ammo unless something super, super bad happens. So yeah, it's not going to get any cheaper, but I don't know. I don't know. The whole situation is just fucked, to be honest with you. It's nobody knows nothing. It's hard to guess where anything is going to go, but as for me and my house, we're sitting okay on ammo supply. So I'm gonna keep scooping it up as it comes along. though. I mean, if I see any shit hot deals on it, that's for damn sure.
Oh, you're really sitting okay though.
Well, not where I would like to be. No, I mean, I watched the video of Demolition Ranch the other day, and he's got a whole. Have you seen his vault video? Just freaking insane, like all the guns. And that's where I would like to be with the subsequent ammo to power all those guns for years and years. So no, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not comfortable, but I'm semi comfortable. Where I am, but I'm gonna keep stocking up at every opportunity I see. So I'm gonna be one of those guys that dies when he's probably younger, way younger than I should be. But if I'm blessed enough to have kids, they'll come into my house and be like, what in the hell was this dude think? I'm gonna have like fucking semi loads full of full of ammo in there someday. But
Semi loads, huh?
oh hell yeah, we'll
You're gonna
see.
need a bigger house, dude.
That is very true. This is very
Another
true.
another thing I was thinking about today. I was thinking about how much ammo we should have, but then I also got to thinking how much how many components should we have? Because I mean, things like we've been saying, things are just gonna go downhill from here, and they're gonna get nothing but harder to obtain this kind of stuff as as
Yeah.
life goes on. So I was trying to figure out like the ratio of rounds to components. Like say you have 25,000 cartridges, rounds, loaded ammo. Where would you
All
want to
right.
be at with components?
Twice that.
Twice that? Why twice?
Yeah. Yeah. Just a rough estimate. I mean, um, and it's different for everybody. It's wherever you feel comfortable, but I like to have a hell of a lot more components to be able to put stuff, those cartridges together. I like to have a lot more of that than I do of loaded ammo. Um, I'm not there. Thankfully, I bought 10,000 small rifle primers right before everything. Well, right about when everything went nuts. So was it 2020 when the whole this shortage kind of started again, or was it 19? I think it was around 2020.
I
But
don't know.
I had a buddy that, you know, kind of getting out of reloading. He had 10,000 Russian small pistol primers or small rifle primers, excuse me, and he made me a hell of a deal on them. And I didn't think I needed them at the time, but at this point in time, I'm pretty damn glad that I scooped them up. So that's kind of the way that I view everything at this point. You know, it's not like I'm going to regret buying primers or powder or anything because it's not like crazy expensive, and I'm always damn glad. It's like a comfort, when you see it. So, um, I I think I personally would love to have twice the components to loaded cartridges, but that's just me. I don't know. You probably haven't started really, or haven't never really had a chance to do much components
Mm-mm.
shopping, huh?
I don't own a
Back
single primer.
Well, yeah. Back when I started reloading was in 2000, just after 2012, when Sandy Hook happened. Actually, I think Sandy Hook happened on like December, if I remember right, it's early December. I want to say like 11th or 12th or something. And don't quote me on that. It could be way off. But I think it was like on the 4th of December, I bought my first AR lower, and that really uh, got me into guns and building guns and stuff. And then I subsequently got into to reloading. And of course, you guys know what happened after Sandy Hook. There was the first ammo scare, and it was, I would venture to say that it was just as bad or worse than this one, probably worse. You couldn't find primers on the shelf. You'd go and you'd find them at Shields, and they'd send you 100. They'd sell you like 100 at a time. So I'm buying, but it was like kind of like the lottery. You'd find this shit. Yeah, hell yeah. But prices never skyrocketed near as bad as they have now. But I started reloading back then, like when shit was horribly hard to find. So it's just kind of been ingrained to me. Find the shit or buy the shit whenever you find it and stock it up for a rainy day. So that's kind of always been my mentality on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking in the next year, soon when I'm not broke as fuck, I should probably start working out my whole reloading situation. Get that all set up and
Yeah, yeah. It's just to be honest with you, as far as reloading goes, I love being able to do it all at home, but it's relaxing and soothing to me. It's strange. Like if I have a super rough day, just go in there and reload 109 millimeter shells or 5.56, whatever, and it's relaxing. It's therapeutic to me almost. I enjoy it.
I don't get that. I
Why?
don't think I'll enjoy it at all because that's I don't know. It's just mind-numbingly boring, and it's kind of like what am I thinking of? Son of a bitch.
Wieners? I don't know.
Yeah, not that. That's thinking of that. I don't know. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. I don't know. Just
Shocking.
that monotonous action. Just it's too boring for me.
I think that's why I enjoy it, just because like my brain is engaged so much during the day that it's nice to go and just disconnect a little bit and do that. And then when you're done with it, you've created this very useful, you know, awesome thing. I that's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah, not for me. I don't think, anyways. I mean, I've never done it, but I can't say for sure. But oh wow, Cliff, you are in here. Welcome, asshole.
His Cliff's first comments about wieners.
God damn it! I'm still trying to think of what I was gonna say.
I
Okay,
do not
whatever.
know, Box. You'll think
Tell
about
me
it as
what I
soon
was
as we
gonna
change.
say.
You'll figure it out as soon as we change the subject.
Okay, what's the next subject? What do you want to talk about? Jim Jordan or Stern Defense?
Uh, Stern defense. Don't know what I don't know what this is. So
Okay, well, there's not much to say about it here. I'll throw up a picture on the screen here, a little slideshow that the totally fucking wrong.
okay, I see.
Anyways, you all know like the law tactical folder.
Yep.
Well, this is kind of the same idea except it disattaches completely. It doesn't fold, but it allows your buffer tube and your stock and all that to kind of lock on to your lower. You stick it in there and you twist it 30 degrees and it's locked in there and you can run your gun as normally and the buffer runs back into the carrier runs back into the buffer tube as it always does. Can't fire it
Right.
with the buffer tube off of there, obviously, unlike some other options. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. It runs for $140. I don't know of many advantages other than storage over a folder. It's certainly not as deployable as any of the other options,
Right.
but it's definitely gives you options when it comes to throwing it in a tiny little space or splitting up your components. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but
Yeah. I don't know. Like I appreciate the fact that this is an option, but I don't see it has any benefit much, much at all. Um, Miles says, just jumping in for a sec, bufferless is the way of the future, I think. This is what I've been saying for years. I agree with Miles. So I don't really see the value in this system, I guess, to be honest with you.
I'm
I mean, it's
surprised.
cool.
I'm
Well, why?
surprised.
Because I'm
Since when do you need to?
innovation.
Since when do you need to see value in something before you're like, yeah, it's awesome? Like 90% of the things you like just because they're neat and new.
Yeah, and this is fairly cool, I guess. It's interesting. You can get yourself like this, and then there's that also this quick detach system that they make. I haven't seen it for a while. It's kind of faded out a little bit. Um, but it's a you can do the same thing with the barrel. You put the barrel in and twist it, and that
Yeah.
connects in. But the last thing, I mean, I'm trying to think of a situation because if it was in a backpack, like say a backpack gun, like the last thing I want to do is need it, and then I got to put the freaking buffer tube on quick. You know what I mean? I'd rather just like it's on there and you can slap it open. At the very least, a lock tactical, and I don't even like law tactical folders. I would never buy one of those because it can't fire with the bolt with the well, it can, but you only get one shot. I don't even like those to be honest with you. Um, so I don't know. Murphy says it's all about innovation. That's yeah, that's right. No, we're innovating. I guess this is kind of innovative. I just don't love it. It's not something that I would run, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not
Personally.
sure the sure of the niche market that they're aiming for. I'm sure it'll come in useful for somebody, but it's not as universally useful as the other options.
Right. And I'm just trying to think about a situation where it's going to be useful for someone though. And I can't see that scenario.
A briefcase. How about a briefcase? Briefcase is too thin to stuck a stiff. Damn it, you got me, Cliff. It's all about the wieners now, I guess. Briefcases might be a little too narrow to stuff a folded up AR into, so where you'd have to take the buffer tube off of it. There you go. There's your scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could agree with that. Only in scenarios where you have limited width, I suppose. Miles says survival rifle like the Air Force uses. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. I don't know. It's an interesting tidbit. I'm not knocking it because it's nice to have every option. I like having all sorts of options. That's pretty sweet. I enjoy that. I just don't particularly think this is one for me. I guess I should say. I
Yeah.
don't care for it.
It may solve some pretty big problems that some people have that I'm not aware of.
Weird ass problems.
Yeah, I can't read the text on the screen tonight for some reason. The names. Who is that? Poor man's machine gun. Hello from Indiana. Well, hello to you from Iowa, poor man's machine gun. It's nice to have a new viewer around here. Well, that's
Oh yeah.
all I really got on the old Stern defense. I figured you'd be all about it, but sometimes I'm wrong. Not often, but sometimes.
Well, I'm about a lot of stuff, innovative stuff like this, but it's got to have some redeeming quality or like some useful aspect and or just inherently really cool. And frankly, I don't I don't feel that it's inherently that cool. Miles says Law Folder was too expensive and not the best. I would agree. It's cool. And actually though, did you see Law Tacticals coming out with a new system that allows them to fire multiple times with the stock folded? And now we're getting into situations where okay, now I can get on board this train. I think there's still better options, but I can at least appreciate where they're going with their the whole thing. So, have you seen that?
I have not.
But yeah, the Lock Tactical, they're coming out with a new thing, and it's actually a bolt carrier, um, bolt carrier group, and it uses. We've looked at them on this podcast before. They got a couple of springs back there, and
Yeah.
everything's contained within the upper. So, but my question is, I don't know if they're going to make that a proprietary system. First try. If you have to use it with a law tactical buffer or law tactical folder, or if you're going to be able to use it in any upper, kind of like just you got your BRN 180 upper. I would bet that they're going to try to make it proprietary. But in which case, I think that there will be a pretty simple modification that you could do to make it useful in whatever gun, because I mean, it can't be that freaking complicated. So I'm interested to see a little bit more on that too, and whether how that all plays out.
Yeah, that may be interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, you want to move
Yeah,
on?
I suppose.
Oh, there was a new Samism in that rant of yours as well.
What's that?
You're like, I like, I like stuff.
I do. I like lots of stuff, all
I
sorts of
like
stuff.
lots of stuff.
I get into all sorts of things. That's part of my freaking problem. I like gear and stuff and things, and I just go from one thing to the other. It's infuriating.
Like a what?
I don't really know. Like a bumblebee, I got nothing. I don't know.
Surprised you came up with anything. I was trying to call you out on that, but way to go.
Well, that didn't work out for you.
Okay, anyways, on to the next subject. This week, Jim Jordan of Ohio, representative out of Ohio, he sent a letter to Mr. Stephen Dettelbach, the director of the ATF, reprimanding him, or a scathing letter, I suppose you should say. But the backstory here, just some context. I cannot talk for fuck tonight, man. God damn. Anyways, right now, Mr. Jerry Nadler is the chair of the Judiciary Committee in the House. And we all know how that goes. That fucking old bag. But come January, since the Republicans won the House, it's expected that Jim Jordan will be taking over as the chair of the Judiciary Committee. And he's also the ranking member. So he's kind of getting an early jump on that. So he sent this letter to Stephen Dettelbach, and I never did find the actual letter itself. I just found articles and quotes from the letter. But it was on Monday that he sent this letter out, and he accused the ATF of ignoring or failing to sufficiently respond to his past requests for documents and information about the Bureau's efforts to regulate firearms through the rulemaking progress. And the ATF, of course, came back. A spokesman came back to that and said, "No, we've responded to all prior letters, and we'll continue responding." So I don't know what these past letters are, but he claimed to, anyways. But Jim Jordan also told Dettelbach that the committee may be forced to resort to compulsory process to obtain the material we required, and warned it may require prompt testimony from ATF employees, and asked him to preserve all existing and future records and materials in your possession relating to the gun rules. I believe this letter was prompted by, I mean, a lot of things, but the main topic of it, I think, was the ghost gun rule
Yeah.
that came out recently. And about that, Jordan said that the ghost gun rule goes well beyond the authority granted to the agency in any applicable federal statutes. And in a prior letter to the ATF, he declared the rule appears to be a deliberate attempt to usurp the authority of Congress, and said it unconstitutionally infringes on American citizens' fundamental Second Amendment rights and privacy rights under the Fourth Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we all pretty much know this, but it's kind of nice having a congressman say these words to the ATF themselves. And he's also objecting, of course, to the stabilizing race ruling. That goes into, when's that go into effect? Like the
December sometime.
The 7th, I think.
I'm
Next
not
week.
quite sure. Yeah, I'm not positive on that, but sounds good.
So he, on that note, he also says Congress hasn't criminalized the use of a pistol arm stabilizing brace under the Gun Control Act of '68 or allowed for its regulation under the NFA.
Mm-hmm.
But through its proposed rule, the ATF seeks to subject stabilizing braces to the Gun Control Act, criminal penalties, and NFA regulation without congressional prohibition of the underlying activity. And that's kind of promising to me. I'm skeptical that anything will ever come of it, but it's nice to see a congressman recognize that the ATF has just been doing all this shit that hasn't been passed through Congress, which I mean, any new gun control that's passed legally has to go through this committee. So they're not going to pass anything that doesn't hold up, I wouldn't think, anyways. I don't know too much about Jim Jordan myself.
I've been following Jim Jordan for years. I'm a pretty big fan. He's a pretty hardcore constitutionalist. He wouldn't allow any gun control shit to go through, but the way committees work is, there's usually 11 or 13 or however many members on a. I don't know about that particular committee. I would assume 11 or 13. But if they vote, so it goes up to a vote, and there's Democrats and there's Republicans on there. So it's not like set in stone that nothing could go through there. But you're right, it would be a harder because there's more. I believe there's going to be more Republicans on there now that they own the House. Um, I've always been a fan of Jim Jordan. I've always agreed with everything he said. But to your point, talking about the ATF redefining firearms rule, the thing that's so frustrating about that is there is a court case going on right now with Tactical Machining and Blackhawk Manufacturing. I believe it is. They're like 80% machining. I believe that something like Blackhawk and 80% are one and the same, or doesn't matter. But anyways, there's this court case going on, and the judge in that case, has sued. They've sued the ATF, and the judge in that case has said that this rule is unconstitutional. It's blatantly unconstitutional. I can't remember his exact wording, but he said he made no qualms about calling this rule completely unconstitutional, and he has put an injunction on the ATF from enforcing this rule on Tactical Machining and Blackhawk Manufacturing and all of their customers. So if you go on tacticalmachining.com, they're still selling the hell out of 80% and jigs to go with each other. So you can buy an 80%er and a jig together off their website because the ATF cannot enforce this rule on them. Everything they're doing is still legal and still kosher. And this judge has declared this is unconstitutional. So he's declared this injunction. But what's frustrating to me is this is still, I understand it, but it's frustrating that this hasn't been declared nationally. Hey, this is unconstitutional. Stop this bullshit. Yet it's allowed to stand. That's the thing that frustrates me so much. When it's been declared unconstitutional and it's still allowed to stand for everybody else in the nation. I think it's pretty clear to anybody with a brain that the ATF is overstepping on this. They were never given the authority by Congress to regulate parts and accessories, which they were given the authority to regulate firearms and frames and receivers, but you just can't call whatever the hell you want a frame and a receiver. Like, that's not how that works. They weren't given that authority. So the fact that that's still allowed to stand, and now the ATF is coming in the next week or two, whatever it is. Gene says December 19th, he thinks the brace rule goes into effect. Either way, in the next few weeks, the fact that the ATF is just going to do the same fucking thing, and there's going to be all sorts of court cases, I have absolutely zero faith that the ATF is going to get smacked down on this, to be real honest with you. We just keep letting it happen, and the shit keeps going farther and farther. And man, it's frustrating. But it is nice at least that we have, the House, so they can't pass whatever the hell they want. But still, it's extremely irritating.
Yeah. Kind of the same way. I mean, I like to hear it that that this shit is going on, that they're getting called out on their shit. But yeah, I have a hard time having any faith that the government does anything worthwhile at this point.
Jim
And
Jordan,
kind of a skeptic.
the poor is that the poor man's machine gun. We need to change the font color on that.
Yeah, I don't know why
Um,
it is like that.
Jim Jordan needs to extend this to bump stocks and force reset triggers. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Side note, did you see Rare Breed Triggers? They won their lawsuit against uh, the wide open trigger at Big Daddy Unlimited. So they got the stock, they got all of Big Daddy Unlimited's triggers, all their wide open triggers. And get this, they're selling them on their fucking website now.
Oh yeah, I did
Keep in
see that.
mind, keep in mind that rare breed triggers were confiscated. The ATF confiscated all of rare breed triggers inventory, so they had no triggers to sell. So they won their lawsuit against wide open triggers, and the balls on these people to go and put them on their website and sell them, and explicitly states on the website that these every dollar we make off of these will be go towards funding our fight against the ATF. The balls on those guys is holy shit. We need, if everyone in the Second Amendment industry were as committed as those guys are, we would not be in the situation that we're in. But that's I thought that was freaking awesome. It was it was pretty great. I enjoyed that immensely.
I looked at them when I first heard that news, and I don't know the price that the wide open triggers normally run, but it looked like they were selling them at a pretty discounted price. I think it said they're
Yeah,
like normally like 350 or something. They were selling them for what, 200?
200, yes. But there is the problem with that is there's a pretty big you're taking a risk by buying one of these triggers. Just because I mean it's common knowledge that the ATF has showed up at a lot of people's doors questioning them about these triggers, and they're viewing them as machine guns. So, you know, the penalty for owning a machine gun, an unregistered machine gun, is 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. So that's there. It's not a light thing. So the fact that the wide open triggers is or excuse me, rare breed triggers is doing this is pretty awesome. But yeah, I would agree that they have to sell them almost, I guess, at a discounted rate. Otherwise, who's going to take who's going to really take the chance of putting their name on a freaking list to go to federal pound me in the ass prison for 10 years?
Their breed was a prosecutor that helped with the warrant refuse prosecute.
Really? I had not heard that. Um, just
Huh.
another quick update on rare breed. Their case in North Dakota was thrown out because the judge or the ATF argued that this was the wrong jurisdiction. They didn't have any jurisdiction up in North Dakota or whatever. So that whole case was thrown out. Um, but down in Florida, they're going to refile. And this was, I think, this was like a week or two ago. They said they were going to refile within a week. So it's probably now or it's already been filed. But um, Gene says they're showing up on gun broker purchases. Well, yeah, but you got to be crazy, son of a bitch, to buy off gun broker because that was where the majority of people were getting visits from the ATF anyway. So I don't know, man. Like me personally, I have an SOT. I am, I'm legal to manufacture machine guns. So I wouldn't really have any qualms about buying one because, you know, technically it's still not kosher, but at least I'm licensed for that sort of thing. But the average Joe Schmo, you're taking a big risk buying something like that. But I applaud you if you got the cojones on you to do it.
I haven't heard anything else about the ATF showing up at anybody's houses lately.
I haven't heard anything recently. No,
Oh
not
yeah,
not recently, but it's been. And I'm not saying I don't know if it's been happening yet or been happening still. If that was just like kind of a spur of the moment deal, or what the whole situation with that was.
yeah, it's hard to tell.
I think it was just a scare tactic, typical ATF bullshit.
Hard to tell what with the ATF. I heard a quote the other day.
Are you going to tell us or?
I can't remember exactly what it is. It's like the gist of it is kind of stupidity can often come off as aggression. That's kind of, I mean, you don't know what you're doing, so it looks like you're the villain. Kind of the point of it. It's a whole lot more eloquently stated, actual
Oh, okay.
quote, but
I was confused. You're talking about the ATF.
yes.
I would venture to say that the ATF is certainly is aggressive, and they intend to come off aggressive, but they are also very stupid. So I would say that quote. I mean, I see what you're saying. Yeah, some of the agents are pretty freaking stupid. But Cliff says, let's order a bunch of triggers with boxes, info, and address on them. Real dick move, Cliff. Real
Go
dick
for it.
move.
Go for it. I don't care, Cliff.
uh, so yeah, it'll be. I don't remember where that conversation started at, but it'd be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how. I'll tell you what though, that rare breed, they've been fighting and fighting, and they're freaking. Um, the ATF took away their money by confiscating their inventory, and they're still fighting. And then they had the balls to freaking throw up those wide open triggers that they got from another lawsuit that they were having to throw all this money at. They got those triggers and then had the balls to throw them on their own website and take and get the money from those. So man, I applaud the hell out of them.
They're one
Um,
company that is not intimidated by the ATF.
no, no, absolutely not, and that's pretty freaking awesome of them.
When are you
Uh,
going to be on Rumble? I believe we were on Rumble at one point in time, weren't we? But I think we gave up because it was a total shit show.
no, we're on like full 30 or full 60 or some shit like that.
I know we at least considered Rumble a couple years ago, but I
Actually,
don't.
I've been debating getting on Rumble just for the specific purpose of recording videos that I can then embed on our website. Because there's a lot of videos that I can't do, such as like building a Glock or building an AR or talking about 3D printed guns that I can't post on face or excuse me on YouTube. Um, but I believe I can. Rumble is, they're not wonderful, but they're better than the options we have. So I'm thinking about joining them just for the simple fact that I can post and embed them on our website. So that's something that I'm gonna look into actually.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Rumble in probably year and a half, 2 years, so I'm not sure what it's like. Maybe we should look into it again.
Yeah, they seem like the most viable YouTube option. I mean, they're still there. They're still ticking. Um, have you been watching all this shit with old Elon on the Twitters?
Mm-mm. I have
Apple
not.
Apple has Apple has actually threatened to take Twitter out of its Apple store
Oh, I saw that.
for some
Yeah.
reason. Um, so that would be interesting. And now Europe is threatening to not allow uh, Twitter in Europe unless he adheres to their strict censorship rules, essentially, which he is. he is vehemently against. That's the entire reason that he spent 44 billion dollars or whatever to buy Twitter. That's the entire reason he got into this fight. So he's even gone so far as to say that if Apple removes him from their store, he will look into building his own phone to compete with them.
I bet he will, anyways.
Well, he already has a phone. Tesla's been developing a phone. It's called like the Tesla Pi phone, and that's been in the works for a couple of years now. So it would not surprise me if if he went ahead and did it. It definitely, I would buy the damn thing though, just to support him.
I don't know. You really love yourself some Elon.
I love. He's a weird dude. He's a very weird dude. I do. I love the shit. I do love him because he's standing up against censorship, and he stands up for free speech. Like I know that you have your qualms with him, and I agree with those issues, but man, like somebody's got to do it, and he's not one to be scared or back down from a fight, and I appreciate the hell out of that. He posted a photo the other day of his bedside table. It had a toy gun and a replica musket from like the 1800s and a bunch of Diet Coke and some other shit on it. And liberals lost their freaking minds. What do you have a toy gun? What do you have a gun on your bedside table for? You need to secure that shit and blah 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 blah. And it just actually lost it, and they didn't realize that it was a toy. The thing didn't even have a trigger in it, just a toy gun. Chipman says he can't be bought, which I like. That is precisely why I like him. He has enough money where he's got fuck you money, and he will do what he thinks is right, and what he thinks is right is free speech, which I 100% agree with.
Thought I saw somewhere that his significant other was like a communist or something.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I don't think she's a commie, but she's a raging liberal, if I remember right. And what they name their kid? Like one of he has a lot of kids, but his last one he had was like,
Yeah, I
wasn't it
just
like,
came across that the other day, actually, seeing how on the Rogan show talking about how to pronounce it, and it's like X Ash A12 or something like that.
yeah,
How
and
it's
it was named
pronounced.
after, I think it was named after a fucking spaceship.
Yeah, the A12 was he said was his contribution, and it was just like a cool ship that he liked.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. But talking about back to censorship, if you I, you may not have know what's going on in China right now, just because it's not something that our media wants to show. But there's some massive protests going on, basically over their COVID zero policy or zero tolerance policy. Um, and what they ended up doing was they'll lock down apartment complexes, blocks, entire fucking cities if there's any COVID detected there. And this particular instance, they had welded the doors shut on an apartment complex, which then started on fire, and there was 10 people burned to death in that apartment complex, which is ultimately the catalyst for all these protests going on. But it's all about their zero COVID policy, because people they have no lives, they can't do anything. But at these protests, they're holding up blank sheets of paper, which I thought was really interesting. And what they represent is we don't have a voice, we can't say anything, because they are censored so much that even if they talk bad about the president or the government, they may freaking disappear and be gone forever. Um, the shit that's going on over there is just insane. They're building entire camps, COVID camps, where if you test positive for COVID, here you go. You're going to be shut in this freaking in this hole for whatever, a month until you test positive or negative for COVID, and then we're going to let you out if we ever do let you out. Um, it's just insanity over there, and they have no way to fight back on this because they have no guns, they have no weapons, they can't do anything. And what really gets me is all of these policies, like the worst part of these policies, the censorship, the control of the people, the no guns. These are things that our government right now and the left wing is embracing and trying to bring into the United States here. All of these things. And I guarantee you, if you go over and talk to these people, they would tell you never, ever, ever give up your freedoms. And that's just so that's one thing that I appreciate about what Elon is trying to do. He recognizes this, and he recognizes the importance of the First Amendment and communication and freedom of speech. Um, so that's don't ever give this shit up. And it's so frustrating. Like you scroll through Twitter. Box, you're not on Twitter, but I am, and there are so many people arguing for censorship, arguing for the government because they don't want to see hate speech. Well, the government should be able to regulate this because that's mean. Like, you don't understand what you're asking people. Like, go and look at China and see what's actually happening right now, and you'll understand the need for freedom of speech. Just baffles me.
I don't think they will understand. They won't understand it till they live it.
No, absolutely. I would absolutely agree. And it's unfortunate, but then again, our media doesn't. Have you seen, I mean, have you seen our media reporting on the Chinese protests? Very, very little. They're not going to tell you what this is all about. Have you seen our this administration um, saying they're behind these protesters? No, because first of all, they don't want to piss off the Chinese communists because they're in bed with them. They don't want to piss them off. And second of all, these are the same policies that the commies have over there, are the same policies that they're trying to enact over here. So it's this same shit is going on in Iran too, actually. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, all the massive protests going on in Iran because of um, the oppressive government. And I think all those were sparked because there was a chick was in police custody or some shit, and she was killed or brutally hurt. I don't know if she was killed or whatever, but there's massive protests going on over there too, and you don't hear about that shit very much because our media doesn't run a report on that because these are the same kind of governments that they wish to be. So I ain't ever giving up my guns, folks. Sorry, ain't gonna friggin' happen. Ain't gonna happen.
Remember, it's been a while back, how China first responded to COVID, shut everything down, and everyone is still bitching that the U.S. needs to shut everything down. And they're like, "You didn't do enough to stop COVID. And why didn't you do more like what they did?" Everyone bitch,
Yep.
be more like China. Okay, yeah,
Yep.
is that what you want? Look at where they're at now. That's where we would be right now if we had gone that route.
Yep. And they're in a hell of a situation because they have not allowed the Chinese CDC or whatever has not allowed foreign vaccines to be introduced. They're using their own vaccines over there, but they're not the mRNA ones that the rest of the world has. Um, and also their zero COVID policy has resulted in they have no herd immunity over there because a lot of people have never been exposed to COVID, so they had absolutely no chance to develop an immunity to it at all. So say they say, okay, well, we're going to give this zero COVID policy up. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to the same shit. Like you're going to overwhelm the hospitals. There's going to be massive death because they've been sheltered from it so much they have no immunity to it, so they're up shit's creek with no paddle. They got no way out of this, and the freaking idiots. The rest of the world's moving on with their life, and China is still basically fucked. There's nothing they can do.
But it's for the good of the people, for their own good, Sam. The government knows best.
Right. Yeah.
We'll see in
Uh,
the end. The end
I,
justifies the means.
well, when the end is you can't live your own life as you see fit, that's sorry, and that's not acceptable. Like, and it's to the point where they have to do, I'm not sure if it's daily, but it's very, very often COVID tests, and they have to have a negative COVID test to do basically anything. It's freaking absurd over there. Just just absurd. And that's a main reason why we were talking about the supply chain earlier, why that's so strained and so screwed is because China is one of the main suppliers of the entire world, and they still have this policy that keeps screwing everything up, all the manufacturing over there. So I yeah, it's a I don't know, man. I don't know where everything is going to go and how that's all going to work out over there, but I would say I, I hope the protests succeed over there, but the communists are just going to fucking kill them and then refuse to allow any of the news to get out. So they're pretty much hosed.
Yeah. No, we can't let you die from COVID. We have to kill you ourselves.
Right. Yeah. And that's, we joke about it, but that's the freaking reality over there. I mean, they have literal internment camps for, I can't remember if it's a certain breed of Muslims over there. I think it's the Muslims. They're just exterminating them, and no one talks about it. No one says shit because China is such a key part of the world economy. They don't want to piss them off. Yeah, we're letting people commit genocide over there. It's freaking absurd. Just absurd, man. It's unfortunate. I,
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a whole lot to say about this particular matter tonight.
Andrew
Or
says
really,
I don't know how to pronounce that, but Uyghurs, Uyghurs, yeah, the Muslims over there that they're committing genocide on. Look it up. It's some pretty freaking crazy shit going on. We're back in the 1940s with the Holocaust type situation going on. It's insane, and
but
nobody,
it's America that's full of hate and discriminating against Muslims and everyone else.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. The current world we're living in. But then again, I think everybody that's lived through any time ever has said the times they're living in are pretty freaking crazy. So, I mean, try to enjoy it as much as you can.
Yes, sir. Okay. Do you want to call tonight?
I think we probably should. I am kind of hungry. I think the girlfriend brought me some Panera bread. Uh, Nick says before we go, what was your guys' best deal you got on Black Friday or Cyber Monday? Did you buy anything, Box?
Nope, not a single thing.
I bought some ammo. What the hell did I buy? I bought some ammo, 9 mil. I bought some earbuds from Wise. And one last thing, I got some uh a new mat, a new gun mat. That orange mat that I run on my workbench, it's that silicone mat. I got a mini one for in the house for my gun bench in there. And I got a new 3D printer, but that was weeks ago, but I just got to pay for it and it's on the way. That'll be here on Monday. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Yeah.
I did get a pretty sweet onesie.
That I mean, sweet is a relative term, but yes, it was a nice onesie box. Very nice onesie.
That's as close as I can get to a Black Friday deal there, Nick. The best I can do for you tonight, bud.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I suppose we're going to call it a night. This was an episode we were making up from last week, so next week we will be recording as well. We will not be taking a week off between now and the next episode, but the next Gears and Beers will be on December 7th, and that will be the last episode of the year and of the season. We'll be coming back in January. We're going to take a bit of a month break. We'll come back with season 2. So you're not going to see much from us between next week and January, but we'll be coming right back. So stick around for that. Maybe, and I'm sure Sam won't be able to help himself, and he'll probably post a thing or two on the podcast page.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
But that's pretty much going to be it. Anyways, thank you everyone for stopping by. Be sure to listen to our entire catalog of podcasts on most major podcast providers and also on our website. If you enjoy what we do and you want to help support the show, check out our Subscribe Star page for exclusive content and other benefits. If you want to get more involved with the community, join our forum on lifeshortlivefree.com and also join our Discord server. I don't think you can just search that up and find it. You'll have to download our app, which you can find on lifeshortlivefree.com. And the tab up on the top right, you can click download the app, and you can get that from the Google Play Store, not on the Apple Store. Not available on Apple products. But if you download the app, you can get the download, you can get the URL, the invite on there to join the Discord. It's a happening place. We got quite a few people in there. Mostly something is said every single day. There's usually conversations going on in there. It's going to be a whole lot more people in there before long, a whole lot more conversations. It's always interesting in there. We got 3D printing stuff in there. We got guns and gear in there. We got a DIY page in there. We got all sorts of channels in there.
Yeah,
all sorts of fun stuff.
We need to make that public. So everybody.
We cannot. Not until we hit 1,000 people, we can't make it discoverable. So we needed to gain a few people.
I mean, like put the invite somewhere so those with iPhones can still join the Discord and stuff. Because if you have an iPhone and you want to join, you got no way because you can't get the LSLF app. So we need to make that public at least. But
that's true.
Yep.
Yeah,
but it's happening over there. It's there's always conversations going on. It's pretty enjoyable. So absolutely.
I believe Nick actually just posted one of his invite codes on the Facebook video. So if you want in on it, go click that. Click that URL right there. Anyways, if you aren't aware, Gears and Beers is streamed live every other Wednesday night at 8:30 Central Time on YouTube, Twitch, and our website. We would love for you to come get involved with the conversation. Be sure to check out our sponsors, Shyworks at shyworks.com, and also on Facebook, along with Ballistic Imagery at ballisticimagery.com, and also on Facebook. And that is the show, folks. We'll see you again next weekend. Next Wednesday. That's the one. Next Wednesday. Sign us off, Sam.
Yep, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it. Till we talk to you next time. Remember, life's short, live free. God bless. God bless the United States of America.
Fund the ATF.